Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second Holy Ghost Prep Town Hall. We're super excited that everybody is joining us tonight on Facebook Live, on YouTube, and on their smart TV. You know, I've been sitting here, and we're a little bit delayed tonight because I cannot find Mr. Garrison. I have been looking all over for him, but he's just been nowhere to be found. And you know what? I think we're going to FaceTime him.
Hey, guys. Mr. Garrison here, missing you a whole lot. I've been thinking about you this week. All the traditions and all the things you would have been doing just doesn't seem fair. I know that the faculty and staff miss you as well, and you miss each other. You miss being together. And this is a great week for you to have been at Holy Ghost Prep. And obviously it wraps up tomorrow. You would have been celebrating, coming in with goofy outfits, either the Hawaiian theme or a farming theme, or decorating the locker room as Halloween, doing something outrageous, but something that would be distinctly yours and you could call the class of 2020. I think about those traditions fondly, and I know you do too, and it's just not fair, and you deserve more, and I know that you know we're doing everything we possibly can. We know how important that is. As a group of bikers drive past me here near Roosevelt Boulevard in Northeast Philadelphia. Classic. So, in honor of you guys and to remember how fondly we think of you and to honor the traditions of our past and your past, one of the things you would always do, the seniors would always do on Friday evening, actually Friday afternoon, is treat the faculty and staff and themselves to cheesesteaks. I know that gyms would come on campus and make steaks, and everybody would have a good time and hang out together and really enjoy that meal. Surprisingly, Jim Steaks is closed because of COVID. I couldn't believe it when I called their store in South Philadelphia. Well, it is closed. They're not opening even for takeout. And so I've decided to do the next best thing, and I'm here at Steve's Prince of Steaks in Northeast Philadelphia. And so to remember you and to honor you, I'm picking up 2 cheesesteaks, one for myself and one for Mr. Burke. Mr. Burke is doing his cheesesteak with provolone and without, and I'm doing my cheesesteak with provolone and wit. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to talk to somebody from Philadelphia. So I'm back in the car and I'm on my way over to Holy Ghost. Of course, I have to give Mr. Burke his cheesesteak, but more importantly, it's Thursday night and tonight's another town hall. So I hope you and your folks will be joining us for this town hall to hear about what's going on at school and what's coming up for you guys as seniors. And I also hope the rest of the student body and their parents are joining us as well. Should be a great evening, a great meeting, but I have to get there in time. I don't want to miss it. And I want to make sure Mr. Burke and I can sit and eat our cheesesteaks. Hope to see you soon. Be sure to be there.
Mr. Garrison, where have you been?
I've been getting a cheesesteak. I've been at Steve's. We talked about
We had the town hall tonight.
Yeah, but hey, I was getting you one. Mine's a cheesesteak with, and yours is a cheesesteak without. Don't you want it?
Yeah.
Well, here you go.
Thanks. I appreciate that. And from a Jersey guy to a Philly guy, and that was on the wrong side, to a Jersey guy to a Philly guy, I really appreciate it, Mr. Garrison. Thanks for thinking of me. And you know what? When I eat this, I'm going to think of the class of 2020. Cheers to you guys.
And we'll eat both of them afterwards. Well
I was
done.
on a diet anyway, fellas, so I'm really glad. Thanks so much, Greg, for that cheesesteak. Glad to see you. Let's get started with our real town hall. So one of the things that was really a popular question in our last town hall is that we wanted to hear about some of our plans for the future and some of our plans for all of our students over the summer. And so tonight we have invited some special guests to join us, and let's get started with a welcome from the College Guidance Department.
Greetings from the College Guidance Department.
Hi guys, it's a great day in college guidance at Holy Ghost Prep. We are so thrilled to be able to announce that the class of 2020 has achieved over $19,750,000 in scholarship money. Guys, we are so proud of these awesome accomplishments.
And once again, our seniors have made HGP proud and will attend a wide variety of colleges, both near and far. They will attend 43 colleges and universities in 14 states and even across the pond in Scotland. The class of 2020 will be missed, but we know they will always remain in the hearts of the HGP community.
To our underclassmen, as we look ahead, we want to remind you that we are here to help this summer. Not only will we be hosting breakthrough sessions with colleges, information sessions about the college process targeted by grade level, and working sessions for our juniors, we are also available for one-on-one college counseling.
So to the class of 2020, congratulations. We will miss you. We are so proud of you, and please keep in touch. To the class of 2024, we can't wait to meet you. And to the classes of 2021, 22, and 23, we continue to look forward to working with you on your college journey, and we are excited to see where that will take you. Please stay in touch over the summer. Continue to utilize our services as we can accomplish great things together. We hope that you guys all have a great night. Stay safe and thank Holy Ghost. Take care.
So joining us tonight live is Mrs. Emery Doherty. And Emery, we have another special guest that's going to join us tonight. I want to bring in our other guest, Mr. Goulet, who's here to talk about some of the plans that we have for students over the summer.
Yes. Okay. So I'll start. So thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I want to start off with saying congratulations to the class of 2020. Just a couple notes to say they have received over $20 million in scholarships. They're headed to schools from St. Joe's to St. Andrews in England, from Moravian to Miami, from Villanova to Vanderbilt. So we are so proud of you guys. And I have to say, we will miss your faces in our offices. So as I said in the video, please keep in touch. To the class of 2021, you guys might be wondering what you should be doing now. And that's where Mr. Goulet will come in a minute or two. I have three things that should be at the forefront of your mind to work on. First, to begin working on your Common Application, to begin working on your Common Application essay. Mr. Goulet will be in later about that. And to also do some college virtual tours. If you're not able to get out and go to the actual colleges, take some college virtual tours. You all should have already asked 2 teachers for letters of recommendation, so we know we have that in the books. And if you haven't, it'd probably be a good idea to get that done in the next week. To the class of 2022, we're excited to begin your college journey with you and to see where you end up in the right fit college for you. And we're excited to work with you. We will begin having class with you all year next year, once a cycle. So that's something to look forward to. You also will be able to visit with over 100 college reps that visit the Holy Ghost Prep campus. So that's something also exciting. And we also will be doing a lot of things on Naviance, such as interest inventories, college resources, college research, and all sorts of things. So there's a lot to look forward to there. For those of you who don't know much about the College Guidance Office, I'm just briefly going to share a few things that we do. The process at Holy Ghost starts in their sophomore year. So students as second semester sophomores will have a college guidance class and will start the college process doing research and those sorts of things. The other nice thing that we do, which is become a big hit at our school, is that we have a spring tour, a college spring tour trip that we hold over Easter break. It's usually 4 days, 3 nights. Last year, we went to New England and we saw a few schools. We saw 6 schools in New England, in the New England area, and we actually even got to go to a Red Sox game, which was really cool. So that was fun. This year, we had scheduled to go south at the request of our students, and we were headed to Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina area. Unfortunately, we didn't make it this year, but the hope is that the restrictions will be lifted and that we'll be able to make that trip in our spring break of 2021. So we're excited and looking forward to that. Some of those schools that we were going to see were University of Maryland, University of Virginia, Loyola, Duke, North Carolina, James Madison, and I think that might have been it, and High Point. So, and catching up with some of our alums as well at those schools. So that's some of the things. Another thing that we do, just one last thing we do for parents, is we hold coffee talks usually once a month so that parents can come to school, be in the loop as to what's going on in the college guidance world, as well as in the college world. So there's some of those things that we do. One last thing that I just want to say, and I want to remind everybody, is to take advantage of our services. We are here all summer long. We will be having virtual college visits, virtual alumni back to talk about their successes and to talk about how Holy Ghost helped them with their foundation and helped them get to where they are now. So there's going to be a lot to come over the summer months. So please stay tuned, stay in touch, and remember that we are here to help. If you are looking to meet one-on-one, we are around all summer. We welcome you to reach out and take advantage of the opportunities that we have. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Goulet, who has a couple things he wants to talk about with the college essay.
One of the cool aspects of the college guidance department that I help out and take part in is our writing center. And what that is a program that offers one-on-one appointments with myself and with rising seniors, soon to be seniors, to sit down and talk through, to edit, to proofread their college essays. As an example, last school year, I had 89 different appointments. So I met with a large number of our seniors, and that was either working with their Common App essay, working with various supplemental essays, brainstorming sessions. Students would come to me with just kind of ideas, and we would kind of sit down and talk things through. So these, like I said, are one-on-one appointments. So we're going to move them ahead. We're going to start them. I'm actually going to start them the first week of June. So what happens here is anyone who's interested, feel free to send me an email, and I will share with you our kind of Google Calendar schedule where you can make an appointment with me, and we will do all of them virtually through Zoom. So I will set up all the appointments. You can make 1 appointment. You can make 5 appointments. If you make 10 appointments, I might stop you at that point. But I'd be more than happy to help out, sit down, get the ball rolling, because once the fall semester starts, all of our students are going to be hit with a lot of information and a lot of responsibility. So it's always good to get started early. So feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, first week of June, send me an email. I'd be more than happy to meet with all of our students through Zoom and really make sure that your essay is as strong as possible.
Mrs. Doherty, we have so many students that are just thinking about the college guidance process now and thinking about where they may be considering going to college in the future. What do you think is something that our younger guys, our freshmen and sophomores, could be doing over the summer as they think about the schools that they might be interested in? Going to websites, taking virtual tours? What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely think that, we've got a lot of time on our hands right now. And as we finish up school, and some people aren't working and summer jobs, take advantage of going online and looking up different schools. And, it's good to start thinking, do you want a big school, a small school? Do you want to stay close to home? And just start looking and going on. And maybe you have an idea that you want to be an engineering major. We'll look at schools that have those programs and just go on and go around. Most of the schools now have virtual tours that you can take and you can get an idea. It's definitely not the same of being on campus, but it definitely gives you an idea of what the vibe is there, what majors they have, and what students are doing at the school. So I would recommend taking advantage of doing that. You get to be a little bit ahead of the game.
Sure. And Mr. Goulet, one of the things that happens to all of us is it's days before the college app is due and the seniors come running into you and they're trying to write this college app common essay. What is it that you would suggest that those kids be thinking about, especially the juniors over the summer? What could they be doing right now to get their brains ready to be thinking about writing that common app essay?
Biggest thing I can think about is make sure that they write about something that they are interested in. And they don't have to have it fully structured. It's almost like trying to get the ideas out of their head just on paper, just on a screen. If they can do that, that's the early stages of a great college essay. Then I can meet with them one-on-one. We can really break it down. And I always tell them to take risks, to write about something weird, write about something funky, show off their personality a little bit. The essays, I don't want to be cookie cutter, where they're going to sit in a pile where there's another 500 essays that are exactly the same. So I always kind of tell them, take risks, look to be different, really express themselves individually.
Absolutely. We do have a question. It's going to be for me. Where will there be online enrichment classes for our incoming freshmen? Well, there's two things to know. First of all, we are going to offer a series of online summer enrichment classes. Mr. Goulet will be one of our teachers this summer. And so we're super excited to be putting that program together and unveiling that in the very near future. We have an online virtual tour and preview event next Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. It will also be a live stream and on-demand opportunity for families to learn about Holy Ghost Prep and learn about our summer program. And we also have a number of opportunities that are going to be available for our current students this summer that we're going to talk about a little bit as the town hall tonight goes on. So thank you very much for those questions. I'd like to thank Mr. Goulet and Mrs. Doherty for joining us tonight in our town hall. We're excited about having some additional town halls soon and welcoming more people to our live streams. I would also mention that we are live streaming some of our masses during the weekend, and we've had people participating in those masses from home. And so we're going to keep trying to bring as many people from our community virtually to everybody else in the community. And this is just one way that we're trying to do that. So thank you both for participating tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
So we have some different things that have been going on the last couple of weeks, and one of those things has been the Mr. Firebird competition. And so we are excited to be able to announce the winner tonight. We also, one of the other things that we've been doing is we've had the opportunity to have our student government campaigns and elections. And so we're going to announce the winners of the student government elections tonight. And we're excited to do that. And we're going to do that right now.
Hello, and welcome to today's broadcast. I'm Kyle Stone, reporting from the Chipotle parking lot.
And I'm McGuire Shillette, reporting to you live from the forests of southern Botswana. We come to you today with breaking news on the Mr. Firebird and SGA presidential elections.
With 90% of students and faculty reporting, we are ready to call the races. But first, the race in review.
This year's heated campaign began with Nick Badeo's locker room rallies and quickly slid into egg relays in the cafeteria. This was followed by an unbelievably exciting and educational multiplication math race that was stressful for competitors and spectators alike. The competition took to social media when COVID-19 arrived, but our competitors still delivered. We saw John Armentani play the saxophone. We witnessed Liam Farrell's first green screen music video production, and Kevin Landers trained and wrestled for a family-specific Man of the House title in a onesie that no one asked for. Well, okay, maybe some people did, but that's beside the point. And Nick Medeo kept the tradition alive with a singing competition and produced an interesting rendition of The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Students and faculty had their chance to share their talents, promote Mr. Firebird from their homes, and we all went to the ballots. Now, with polling officially closed, we can officially announce this year's Mr. Firebird, and I'm proud to say it's Mr. Kevin Landers. This, of course, has no effect on the current socio-political climate, but the Firebird mascot next year will be named Kevin. Congratulations to all the competitors, and thank you for a memorable competition.
Congrats to Kevin. We turn now to other polls for SGA President and Vice President. In a historic cyber campaign trail, we watched the candidates take to Instagram stories and Schoology pages to communicate their messages. The candidates brought spirit, energy, ideas of themed game nights, and plans to work with Aramark. With virtually no freshmen exercising their civic duties, a majority of sophomores and juniors have made the decision for us. The student government president and vice president for the 2020 to 2021 school year will be Joe Warshaw and Jake Merrick. Congratulations to Joe and Jake. They really did sweep us off our feet. Although I still don't think they were the required 6 feet apart in that video. That's besides the point. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure to tune in tomorrow when our reporter on the field will update us on the exact length and thickness of Mr. Veerwing's beard.
And we will see just how many bows he can fit on there.
I'm Kyle Stone. Thank you for joining us. P.S. My family ran out of hand sanitizer 7 weeks ago. Please send help.
And this was McGuire Shillette reporting to you live from the forests of southern Botswana. We're quickly running out of food and we desperately need an airlift. Signing off. Goodbye, everyone.
So congratulations to all our winners. And we certainly know that those guys are all super excited to have been able to win the Mr. Firebird competition and be the student leaders for next year. A quick note, we do know that there seems to be an issue with YouTube. It is not a Holy Ghost issue. It is a YouTube issue. But I do appreciate all of the comments that folks are sending along. You can still live stream us on Facebook Live, and you can watch this on the Holy Ghost Prep webpage on the COVID resource page if you're having trouble connecting. But congratulations to all our winners. And Mr. Burke, I cut you off. I apologize. We were having technical issues, and I wanted to make sure everybody knew.
Well, my point was I don't know how to follow that. That was wonderful. That was great reporting. And congrats to Joe and Jake and to Kevin for winning Mr. Firebird.
So we'd like to continue along with the ideas that we wanted to share tonight with our town hall. And one of those things, Mr. Garrison, was to talk about our graduation parade.
Yeah, so this is just something to really celebrate and really enjoy. As many of you know, we are postponing the graduation, both the commencement and the baccalaureate mass, and they'll be held hopefully at the end of June. And if not, they'll have to be pushed back to later in the summer. But we want to maintain those traditions, and I know that it's popular, obviously, among our families and students, and that's what we plan to do. But with that being said, we thought there'd be a great opportunity to actually celebrate the official day that graduation was going to be held, which was Saturday, May 30th at 10 a.m. And so with some effort on the parts of the Mothers Guild, with the leadership of the incoming president, Mrs. Becky Gabriel, as well as the outgoing president, Mrs. Kathleen Parsons, they've been able to work with some Holy Ghost Prep staff folks, including Mrs. Christine Rittenmeyer, who's taking the lead within the school. And I'm thrilled to say that they have put together a great event, and some of you know a few of those particulars. I'm also appreciative of the Fathers Association and Steve Shoebrooks, who's going to manage all of the parking and moving of the traffic. And I'm sure it will be no easy job, but they're up to the challenge. And so we ask folks to try and come about 9:40, 9:45, get there about 15 minutes early. All the cars will be lined up and we'll have some entertaining music as well as a few remarks. It will be live streamed. And so any family members that aren't able to fit into your car will certainly be able to watch from home and really enjoy the event. We ask families to decorate their cars and wear their HGP colors proud, and they'll parade through the grounds. They'll go up past Founders Hall, and then when they get to Cornwell's, each car will individually stop in front of the clock tower and will pose for some photographs that will be taken by Catalano Studios. Roll down your windows, stick your heads, hold up signs, whatever you find would be exciting and entertaining. And then off down past the rest of Cornwell's, and then off to campus and on your way for the rest of the day. So it should be a festive event, and we hope that you'll all be there, and you'll know that the faculty will be spread all across campus, cheering you on and applauding you for your success at the end of this year. Congratulations.
Mr. Garrison, I think it's also important to note there are tons of comments coming on just saying congratulations to the winners of the Mr. Firebird contest and certainly of the student government election. And we didn't want to leave those folks out. Tons of really great messages being shared with us. And I know you're looking forward to working with Joe and Jake next year.
Absolutely. It's wonderful news. And we wish certainly Kevin the best as he heads off to St. Andrews in Scotland. And I'm also looking forward to working with Jake and Joe, as I know everyone on the faculty and administrative staff are as well. Congratulations, men.
So, Greg, I know that one of the other important things that a lot of families have been asking about that we've talked a lot about over the last couple of weeks internally to put together a program for families that are facing the really difficult challenges of the current COVID-19 pandemic. And I think we're about ready to talk about some of the grant opportunities that the school is going to begin to provide to those families. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that would be great, Ryan. And as those of you that have had an opportunity to look at yesterday's email that went home yesterday evening from myself and Mr. Burke, gave an initial glimpse in some of the details, but we're now officially rolling out the COVID-19 Relief Grant Program. And I'm thrilled to be able to do that. As many of you may know, the Firebirds for Firebirds Fund was kicked off a couple of weeks ago. And with the support of the school and a special support from our Board of Trustees, as well as key alums and parents and alumni parents, we've seen that Firebirds for Firebirds Fund get traction. And we're going to be in a position to use those dollars to fund the COVID-19 grant program. And so this program is designed to help those families that are being challenged and have to face a great deal of uncertainty because of what the coronavirus has presented them. They've seen a loss of job or a layoff, or they've seen a reduction in their salary and wages, or in some cases, they may just see their business and their small business have dropped off 40 or 50 or even 60%. Well, we want to be in a position to ensure that no student at Holy Ghost Prep is prevented from returning to Holy Ghost because of the COVID-19 virus. We want to do everything that we can to make sure that those students can remain at Holy Ghost. And so what we ask you to do is to follow that link on that email, and we'll be sending up in each of the next follow-up emails the same link, or you can go out to the website and go out to the COVID-19 Grant Relief Program and read the details of the program and then go through the standard application process. It's simple and it's quick, and it puts us in a position to gather that information during the remainder of the month of May and early into June so that we can make decisions by late June and early July. So we would encourage anyone who's been impacted by the coronavirus. We want them to be here, and we encourage them to pursue this process, and we're thrilled that we're in a position to offer it. So thanks very much.
And Greg, I know that all of that planning that is included in the grant program is just kind of permeating all of the things we're doing at Holy Ghost Prep and the planning that we have going on for the summer and for the fall.
Thanks, Ryan. And as all of you know, we face a great deal of uncertainty, as every business, every company, every institution faces, and even every school. And that uncertainty is something that requires us to do some planning. And as a school, we could make the decision of not planning because there's so much uncertainty. But we think that when you put yourselves in a position where you fail to plan, then you're putting yourself in a position where the likelihood of your plan is going to be an unfortunate failure. So we really want to step up from a planning perspective. So what we've done, and I've shared this with you a little bit in the last town hall, is we look at the moving forward in terms of the present term, short term, and long term. And that present term looks out about the next 3 to 5 days. The short term looks out about 8 to 10 weeks. And then the long term for us in this COVID environment is the fall. And that long term becomes extremely important. And we know that there are a lot of key variables that impact us. And we would love to say that social distancing will be finished and that everyone will be back on campus fully for fully integrated classes as we've done in the past. But we also know from the experts that unless there's herd immunity or we're in a position to have the vaccine, we're going to need some type of alternative scenario. And many of the experts and our colleagues that we've been speaking with across the country have shared essentially 3 models. And of course, we all know the on-campus model that we've followed at Holy Ghost Prep. We also are very familiar with the online model that we had to implement overnight through Ghost Online 1.0 and then 2.0. But most experts are saying that what we expect to happen is some type of hybrid model where we have classroom experiences on campus as well as experiences online. And it will require some adjustments and modifications to make in our scheduling and in our planning. And Mr. Burke will be talking about that in a minute. But it's important to understand that this hybrid model is the one that we anticipate. So we expect our students to be on campus, but we also expect them to be involved in online education. So let's look at some of that more detailed planning if we can go to the next slide. One of the things we've realized is we've had to put together some important planning teams to prepare for what that future looks like. And so these planning teams are really focused on getting continuous feedback that we're going to be reaching out to parents and students for that feedback. We're taking a very iterative approach in our planning, and we have to look to the experts in healthcare, in science, in education, in technology, and all the things that are going to shape that hybrid blended experience of classroom and online learning. What we've done is we've put together 4 teams, a health and safety team, an education team, finance, and then a communications team. And of course, our health and safety team is our most important priority. We want to ensure that our staff, our students, our families are safe. And to do that, we're going to need to rely on a great deal of expertise. And so we're building out that team right now with members of the Holy Ghost community, as well as board members, as well as faculty and staff. For each of the committees, we will be looking for folks to get involved. And so if there are 1 or 2 or 3 folks that might be interested, please share that information with us. The second team, of course, is the education team. And Mr. Burke will be sharing some more specifics about that, not only now, but what we'll be doing in the summer in preparation for the coming fall, as well as what we will be doing programmatically during the summer for our students. And the key idea from the education team's perspective is that they are not only adding value, but they want to increase the value that we're providing to our students. Third is our finance team, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We need to do everything to ensure that the school remains fiscally healthy. And as I said 2 weeks ago, we are in a sound financial position, and we are doing everything that we can to ensure that that is the case. And fortunately, we have great leadership among our finance committee and our board as well. And last but certainly not least is the communications planning team. And their charge is very simply ensuring that all communication is clear, concise, and consistent. And you've seen that in our HGP happenings on Sundays, our Wednesday and Friday emails, the town hall initiatives, as well as many other as well as many other media and tools that we're using to make sure that we are connecting with you and you are connecting with us. And last but certainly not least, before I transition to Kevin and to talk more about the education team and our education plans, I would just like to say that we are in the process of informing an expert advisory panel. And so we're looking for one or two folks from a variety of fields, from public health, from the medical field, from the science field, from pharma, that we can use for counsel and advice throughout the summer to strengthen the quality of that student experience once we are back on campus, to ensure a healthy and safe environment for our students and for our faculty, and for a wonderful experience both in the classroom on campus and then at home in an online environment. Kevin, I think we're ready for education. If we can transition to that, if that works for you.
And
Sure.
Mr. Garrison, before Kevin gets a chance to start, I want you to know that the response online has been outrageous. It's been really positive. In fact, so much though that even YouTube came back alive while you were talking. But there are certainly some folks that have already wanted to step forward and be members of the different advisory panels. I have one, Kim Butler, has already stepped up and said she wants to be on the health and safety planning team. So I think that kind of energy is just going to be exactly what we need as we look to get better.
And knowing that we have folks like Kim, who as a nurse is on the front lines of the challenges that we all face, we would not only love to, but we need to have that expertise providing us counsel and advice. So that's great to hear.
And before we go to Mr. Burke, one thing, we did get a great question from Stephanie Marcinkowski. Are we going to have town halls over the summer? I think we've already agreed that is part of the plan, to make sure that we continue to update the community as the world changes, as things change, as opportunities improve, to make sure that we keep communicating with everybody else.
Without question, we'll continue to use all of our tools, and that will include the town hall opportunities. Absolutely.
Mr. Burke.
Now, Mr. Garrison, I knew you were good, but I had no idea that your voice could restore YouTube. That is absolutely impressive.
Yeah, the talents are just mind-boggling, I suppose.
So in jumping into the education planning team, we had received a lot of questions about summer plans, professional development opportunities for teachers, and the opening of school next year and what the model might look like. I think we would be speaking ahead of ourselves if we answered some of those questions that are in the long run or even in the short run. What we know now is we need input. And I think Mr. Garrison expressed that pretty clearly, that input's very, very valuable for us as we continue to plan for what's ahead. We do know that we're going to be offering enrichment opportunities for our students. We had answered one earlier about rising ninth graders, incoming freshmen who are going to have opportunities. We're pretty certain that those opportunities are going to be delivered virtually, and we're exploring to what extent those opportunities are and what for-credit options we might have. We do know that our teachers and our students need a break. So we're going to take an opportunity to step away. It also gives us a chance to look at what we experienced over the past 2 months and see what we learned, so that when we plan for the future, we can take those lessons with a little bit more of a clear head to see what this experience is like. So no offerings will begin before June 22nd. That looks like the date that we're going to begin our summer enrichment opportunities. Additionally, as I mentioned, we're going to have professional development workshops for our teachers during the summer to work on needed tools and skills that might be beneficial for hybrid models. The opening of school, there's a lot of things pending. There's a lot of organizations and government groups that we listen to. They are the experts, and per their input and their restrictions, we'll have to make decisions about the opening of school. We do believe that the education planning team has felt that the campus resources that we have allow for us to have a lot of opportunities to do some unique things that will be allowed in, even with restrictions, be allowed to occur. So we're exploring all those things. And like Mr. Garrison had mentioned, the hybrid model is what we're anticipating for next year. And I think we will have a lot more experiences to be able to prepare for this. We left school on March 12th, and we jumped into online learning on that Monday, and March 12th was a Thursday. I think at this point, if we have time in front of our students at the start of the year, hopefully we can start planning for what the hybrid model will look like, knowing that disruptions are likely.
Mr. Burke, I think you make a couple of really good points there. And while we may not get started until June 22nd for any of the courses, credit courses, enrichment courses, etc., is there any time frame when we think we'll be sharing that information with parents? We'll have some concrete courses and offerings and opportunities that we can share for them to register then for.
Sure. I think the first step is to assess what the students and parents are looking for. So this Sunday in the HGP Happenings email, there will be a survey for parents and students to fill out. We'll outline a number of things that we think might be of interest, but we want their input to see what is of interest so that we can release very, very soon after that some plans for what the summer will look like.
Great to hear.
So to both of you, as you know, we sent an email earlier in the week asking some families about different questions that they might want us to answer tonight. And we sort of put those together and have some common questions that we'd like you to answer as part of our live stream town hall. The first one is for you, Greg. Will the tuition increase be put on hold due to the pandemic financial impact?
So the easy question, is that what that one was? The softball question? Well, that's a great question. And as folks know, our plan is to have all our students back on campus. But at this point, we don't anticipate any changes to tuition. But I stress it's at this point, because of the uncertainty that surrounds the coronavirus and the economic and macro factors that can impact the school, we have to proceed very cautiously. We know that we want to maintain all our faculty and staff, but we also know that we want to increase services and offerings for students. And so we want to see expanded offerings this summer. And we'd like to see those offerings at little, or in some case, even no costs, because we think that that demonstrates the kind of commitment that we want to make not only during the school year, but also over the summer. Additionally, we have extra costs that we now face. There are costs around ensuring the cleanliness and healthy environment of the school. There's the critical role that expanded professional development will play in training our faculty and bringing in outside experts to continue to further develop and enhance their skills, and the investment we need to make in technology. And so we know that we're going to be incurring these additional costs, but we also know that it's important to make sure that we can keep the Holy Ghost Prep community together, which is why we've implemented the COVID-19 relief grant program. But at this point, we don't anticipate making any changes to tuition. But because of the current situation, those things could change in the future, and we'll see how it plays out.
Greg, one of the things you mentioned, and I know that you and I talked about earlier in the week, is just the amazing job that our facility staff has continued to do over the last several weeks as our students and staff have been at home. They've been here cleaning like crazy, doing all sorts of things to make sure that we're starting 5 weeks ago to get ready for September.
Well, it's remarkable, actually, Ryan, because I'm one of the few folks that comes in on a fairly regular basis just to see what's going on campus and to make sure everything is good. And the facilities department has been phenomenal. Their care for the building, their attention to detail, I can't tell you how much of a priority that they've made it. And they've also generated a whole series of items that will be handed off to the health and safety team that can be done from an additional cleaning standpoint that I think will put us in a very good position moving forward.
One of the other most popular questions that we've been asked for the last 8 weeks and probably every day is the question we get about sports. And so, Mr. Burke, the next question is for you. What information can you provide us about Holy Ghost Prep athletics, and will teams be able to try out for fall sports?
The PIAA stated, as most of us are, they're following Governor Wolf's protocol, the CDC's protocol, the Department of Health. So at this point, those are the key groups that are driving the decisions. There is a District 1 ADs meeting next week that Mr. Conlon will be attending. Any additional information that we get from that meeting, we will share with you as soon as possible, especially if there are movements on the decision that we're making.
And Mr. Burke, I know that you and I have talked about this a lot. It's been very, very difficult for the spring sport athletes who were not able to participate in their seasons this year. But I certainly think that one of the best parts about Holy Ghost Prep is that we've tried to continue to support those athletes over the last 8 weeks.
Sure. And I think a thank you to all HGP coaches, but in particular for this year, to our spring coaches, what they did to stay connected to their players, going through a difficult time. Thank you for those efforts. We appreciate that. And know that, especially for our seniors, as you're ending in the way that no one would want to end, that Mr. Conlon is making sure that we recognize you in certain ways to not acknowledge your efforts in the preceding years, even though this year didn't end how we wanted it to.
Absolutely. The next question for you is also for you, Mr. Burke. What improvements do you see happening to Ghost Online?
I think the important point to make here is that there will be improvements. Knowing exactly what those improvements are is probably a little.
Did we lose Mr. Burke?
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are all in Cornwallis Hall right now within 100 yards of each other, and Mr. Garrison and I seem to not have had an issue. And so we're going to go on to the next question. And hopefully,
You want me to take a shot at the answer?
I think that you sure.
Let me do that so we don't have some dead air. Or maybe I could go in and grab him and bring him in here. That's an option as well. But essentially, we definitely know that Ghost Online 2.0 will go through iterations to take it to 3.0, and we will make significant changes and improvements. It's difficult at this point to determine what those improvements will be. Some will be focused on scheduling. Some of them will be focused on structure. A lot of it will be a function of the varying skills that the faculty members will be developing in the next 3 to 4 weeks of the end of the school year and the beginning of the summer to enhance the quality of that program. I also think that the IT folks are assessing several different tools to incorporate into Ghost Online 3.0, but I think it will be significantly enhanced and improved and will be fully integrated into the hybrid model of on-campus teaching as well as in-home online learning.
Greg, the next question is, and we've talked a ton about this over the last several weeks, is how will the seniors be able to come back to get their books or turn in their books, clean out their lockers, get the things that they may have left here in the middle of March?
Yeah, well, that's a great question, Rye. And not only is it relevant to the seniors, but at some point after the seniors, the sophomores and the juniors will also have to come through and gather their things. And so we're doing it on a class-by-class basis, and we're starting off with the seniors. And that's happening next week. I think it's on the 19th. And there's a schedule that came out in yesterday's email that Mr. Chapman and the student affairs folks have put together, working with him as well as several of the counselors. And I know that more than a dozen faculty will be on staff to manage the students. They'll be coming in very small groups. No more than 10 cars will be arriving in any 20-minute segment. And then they will be brought out of their cars, ensuring that there'll be social distancing. And I have the enviable position of being one of the folks to greet the guys. And so that'll be one of the things that I'm on the hook for, to make sure that they're spreading out and they're taking their time. And we are channeling them through the school to gather their materials and to do it in a way that respects all of the safety protocols that we need to keep in place. And we'll continue with that model for the other classes as well.
Greg, as we bring Mr. Burke back on, he has come back. We have an absolutely tremendous comment from Julie Markert, who says, I hope no one forgot their lunch in their lockers. And as experienced at that awfulness for those of us that work here over the summer and the odor that can result from that, the very first thing that our amazing facility staff did when we knew we were not coming back was go through the lockers and make sure there was no food. So thank you very much for that comment. Mr. Burke, since you're back, there is a question. And actually, I think Mrs. Doherty is still on there. So we're going to bring her back on real quickly, because this is a great question for her and maybe for you. What is the latest information about taking the SATs?
Well, first of all, Mr. Garrison's voice restores YouTube, and my voice knocks down Wi-Fi. This is not going well for me. The latest news on the College Board is that they kind of keep pushing back what the next potential is. They've canceled the recent test, and they keep sort of saying it's going to begin again soon. So I think they're in the same boat that all of us are in. We're just waiting to hear when these restrictions will be lifted.
Can I just add to that they have added dates in August, September, October, November, and December, like a date a month starting in August. We will see, I guess, based on what happens over the next few weeks, months, if that happens, if they will be from home. But they have released the dates, and I believe May 26th is when you will be able to sign up for the August SAT. ACT has not said anything about any new dates or anything, but SAT has.
And they just go out to the website for that information, Anne-Marie?
Yes, they can. They can go to thecollegeboard.org, or they can go to act.org, and they can find out all of the information. They have updates. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. The next question, Mr. Burke, we're gonna bring back to you from Stephanie Marcinkowski. Would you be open to hosting an online parent workshop on how to be supportive of students as they prepare for Ghost Online 3.0? I think all of our parents have a new appreciation of what homeschool looks like, and certainly are probably looking for some skills to be able to help their sons as they also face the challenge of online learning.
I think that's a great idea, and I would be very interested in coordinating something with the administration to put together. Thank you to parents. Your role in all of this has not been overlooked. We really appreciate what you've done in your homes to be able to accommodate your sons in their learning. And I think that's a great thing to do during the summer. We've talked about student opportunities and teacher opportunities. A parent opportunity sounds to be right in line with what we expect to do.
And this just gives me an opportunity from recent conversations that we've had with administrators here at the school. Obviously, we're Zooming with them, but we have those meetings nonetheless. Is just the important role that we have in being flexible and being nimble as we assess what works and what doesn't work, and how we can improve the educational experience for your sons. So know that we're open to the ideas. Don't hesitate to share those with Mr. Burke, with myself, with Mr. Helsley, with any of the folks at school.
That's a great point, Mr. Garrison. Our students are being educated in so many different locations now. When we're on campus, they're in one campus. They're everywhere. So if we can get a better understanding of that experience, absolutely.
Great.
So I know that we're approaching the end of our scheduled time for our schedule or our live town hall tonight, and we want to make sure that we end on a really positive note. And Mr. Garrison, I think that you have an announcement that you'd like to make for us.
Yes, so I'm happy to say that after careful deliberation, the awards committee, in evaluating the valedictory addresses and the speeches, have selected the valedictorian for the class of 2020. And that valedictorian is Zach Posovac.
Wow, Zach Posovac. It's funny. I feel like I was talking to Zach Posovac, and I said to him, Zach, I just started calling his name, and then there he was.
Oh, isn't this great?
Congratulations, Zach.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You must be thrilled.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm really honored to stand in front of the parents, grandparents, and talk on behalf of the class of 2020.
And it should be a great event, and we are committed, as you know, to hosting that commencement. So we want you in front of all of them too, for sure.
Yeah, thank you for all you've done for the class of 2020. I know we really appreciate it. We're looking forward to that graduation ceremony.
Do you have a cheesesteak, Zach?
Not, I wasn't aware. I didn't get it.
Well, this was a surprise. I didn't know Zach.
You'll have to make a cheesesteak tomorrow.
So Zach is wearing looks like a Villanova shirt. I guess some additional news as well.
I am, yes. I'll be attending Villanova University next year.
And we all know that there's a certain teacher out there that's super happy. Let's bring him back in. There's Mr. Goulet. There are few people that are as happy about any kind of Villanova person as he is.
So Zach's coming in at the perfect time because we're like number one next year. So he knows what to do.
Yep. Hop on the bandwagon now.
Congratulations again, Zach.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You bet.
So everyone, that concludes our town hall for tonight. We're super excited that you were able to join us, and we're really glad that everybody was able to learn a little bit more about what was going on at Holy Ghost Prep. Like we said, we intend to have further town halls over the summer to continue to educate all of our families and be able to make sure that everybody has the best information possible so that they have the best information about the future of Holy Ghost Prep. In the meantime, though, we want to make sure that we do a special shout out to our seniors. Today was going to be their very special day, and we are all thinking about them. I can tell you that all of the teachers, all of the staff at Holy Ghost Prep, we love our seniors, and our hearts and our minds have been with you all day today, and will continue to be through our very special graduation parade on May 30th. And so thank you very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate joining our town hall. Appreciate to all of our guests. Special congratulations to Zach, who joined us tonight, and we hope everybody has a great night. Good night, and remember, always think Ghost.